A poor black woman's seat was stolen by a white passenger. Seconds later, the plane was grounded. "Excuse me, this is my seat." When the black woman said it, her voice trembled but didn't break. The white man didn't even lift his head. He stayed buried in his phone, a faint smirk playing on his lips. "I don't think so, sweetheart," he muttered. "You're mistaken. This is mine." For a moment, silence filled the cabin. A few passengers turned their heads. No one spoke. But what was about to happen would change that silence and the fate of the flight forever. This wasn't just about a seat. It was about a poor black woman's dignity, a white man's arrogance, and a plane that never left the ground because justice had to land first. A poor black woman's seat was stolen by a white passenger. Seconds later, the plane was grounded. "Excuse me, this is my seat." When the black woman said it, her voice trembled but didn't break. The white man didn't even lift his head. He stayed buried in his phone, a faint smirk playing on his lips. "I don't think so, sweetheart," he muttered. "You're mistaken. This is mine." For a moment, silence filled the cabin. A few passengers turned their heads. No one spoke. But what was about to happen would change that silence and the fate of the flight forever. This wasn't just about a seat. It was about a poor black woman's dignity, a white man's arrogance, and a plane that never left the ground because justice had to land first. Welcome to Black Soul Stories. Every story we tell here is more than just drama. It's about justice, quiet strength, and ordinary people who refuse to be stepped on. If you believe in standing up for what's right, if you think prejudice and arrogance should never win, then hit like and subscribe. And tell us, where are you watching from? And what time is it right now? Because I want to know. Where in the world are you listening to justice tonight? Her name was Miriam, 35 years old, a mother of two, a poor black woman. She cleaned hotel rooms by day and worked nights at a fast food restaurant. By the end of every month, her paycheck was already gone. Rent, bills, school supplies for her kids. This flight was a dream. Her first time leaving the country to London for a charity meeting. She worked remotely for an organization that helped immigrant workers find legal support. Through her own struggles, Miriam had become a quiet leader for others like her. She hadn't even bought the ticket herself. The charity had arranged it. It was an economy ticket, but after a previous flight delay, the airline upgraded her for free to Economy Plus. To Miriam, that alone felt like luxury. She looked down at the crisp boarding pass in her hand, 17A, window seat. Her dress was plain but clean, her shoes old but polished, and she clutched her small worn purse to her chest as she boarded. The cabin smelled of metal, coffee, and perfume. Her heart raced with a mix of nerves and excitement. Counting seat numbers softly, she walked down the aisle. 13, 15, 17. Then she saw it. Row 17, the window seat, already occupied. A broad-shouldered white man sat there, sprawled across the space like he owned it. His navy suit was expensive, his watch gleaming. He oozed the kind of confidence that says, "This world belongs to me." Miriam froze. She looked from her ticket to the seat and back again. Then she took a deep breath. Her throat tightened, but her voice was steady. "Excuse me, this is 17A, right?" Without looking up, the man replied flatly, "Yeah, what are you looking for?" She held out her ticket with trembling hands. "My boarding pass says 17A. I think there's been a mix-up." Finally, he looked at her. His eyes scanned her, the faded dress, the dark skin, the tired but kind face, and his expression said what his mouth hadn't yet. "You don't belong here." A smirk tugged at his lips. "Listen, sweetheart," he said, dripping condescension. "You probably misread your ticket. Economy's back there. This is extra legroom seating, not for budget travelers." A few passengers looked over, then quickly looked away. No one spoke, but everyone heard. Miriam clutched the ticket tighter. "I didn't buy this seat myself," she said softly. "The organization did, but it clearly says 17A. Could you please check your ticket?" The man sighed loudly. "I don't need to check. I've been flying with this airline for years. Always in this section. Always up front. If you're confused, ask the flight attendant. There's no mistake here." There was a mistake, but not in the system. It was in his mind. A young flight attendant appeared, her name tag reading Emma. She wore the standard smile of someone who had seen too many small conflicts. "Is there a problem here?" she asked. "Yes," Miriam said quickly. "My boarding pass says 17A, but this gentleman is already sitting there. Could you please verify?" Emma's eyes flicked from Miriam's worn dress and anxious face to the man's tailored suit and confident posture. She hesitated, then smiled politely. "May I see your boarding pass, ma'am?" Miriam handed it over. Emma looked and froze for a second. It clearly said 17A. Her lips tightened. "Yes, this does say 17A, she admitted. Then turning to the man, "Sir, may I see your boarding pass as well?" The man scoffed. "Seriously? You're wasting time. I am 17A. I fly this route every week. This woman clearly made a mistake." But he didn't show the ticket. He didn't need proof, not when his skin color and suit already spoke for him. Emma shifted uncomfortably. She wanted the issue to disappear. "Ma'am," she said softly to Miriam, "we have another seat toward the back. Maybe you'd be more comfortable there? That way we can get everyone settled quickly." Miriam blinked. "Toward the back? In regular economy?" "Yes, but it's a nice window seat," Emma offered. Miriam's heart sank. She thought about all those nights she scrubbed floors until her hands ached, the countless times she stayed quiet just to avoid conflict, and how this one small upgrade had felt like a win. She inhaled deeply and said one word that changed everything. "No." Emma looked startled. "Excuse me?" "No," Miriam repeated, firmer now. "This seat is mine. I'm not moving. I have my ticket. Please, ask him for his." The man chuckled. "Oh, come on. Don't make a scene. You're delaying everyone. What are you even fighting for?" Miriam met his eyes. "For respect," she said simply. Her calm defiance filled the cabin with quiet power. A few passengers began recording. Others whispered. But no one, not yet, stood up for her. "Let me ask you something. If you were in that cabin, what would you do? Would you say, 'Forget it, just move'? Or would you stand your ground like Miriam did? Comment below, because this isn't just a story. It's a mirror showing who we are when we see injustice." "Emma," Miriam continued quietly, "I haven't raised my voice. I haven't insulted anyone. I'm simply asking you to enforce the rules, equally. If his ticket really says 17A, I'll move. But if he refuses to show it, why am I the one who has to go?" Her words hung in the air like a challenge. Emma hesitated, then finally turned to the man. "Sir, I do need to see your boarding pass." He stared at her coldly. "You're questioning me? I'm a gold member, but fine, if you insist." He pulled out the ticket and handed it over. Emma glanced at it, and her expression changed. "Sir," Your seat is 25C, aisle seat, in economy. A ripple of murmurs ran through the cabin. The man's face flushed red. This is ridiculous, he snapped. I always sit here. I'm not moving because of her. The tension was now a safety issue. Emma straightened. Sir, you're refusing crew instructions. If you don't move, the captain will be notified. He leaned closer, his voice low and venomous. You see, this is what happens when you let them in up front. She doesn't belong here. People like her should know their place. Miriam froze, but not from fear. She'd heard those words before, her entire life. Know your place. At that moment, the captain appeared, a stern-faced woman named Captain Reyes. What's happening here? Emma explained quickly. The captain took both tickets, glanced once, and said calmly, Ma'am, your seat is indeed 17EA. Then to the man, Sir, yours is 25C. Please move. He smirked. Come on, Captain. Are you really turning this into a scene? You're not going to turn the whole plane around for a seat mix-up, are you? Especially not for her. The captain didn't blink. She is my passenger, and she will get the seat she paid for. The man spread out in defiance. Go ahead then. Call security. Let's see who wins. The businessman or the poor black woman? The captain's tone was razor sharp. Gate control? This is Captain Reyes. We're returning to the gate. We have a passenger refusing to comply with crew instructions. The cabin buzzed. A few passengers groaned. Some rolled their eyes. But the decision was made. Miriam sat perfectly still. Then she looked at one of the complaining passengers and said softly, You think I should have just moved, right? That it's not worth the trouble. But that's how it starts. Today it's my seat. Tomorrow it's your job. And one day someone will take your dignity, and everyone will tell you to just let it go. Silence. Then a young man said loudly, She's right. A few clapped, then more. And for the first time that day, Miriam wasn't alone. The plane taxied back to the gate. The white man looked pale. He hadn't expected this. Security boarded. Sir, name? Jonathan Reed, he muttered. Mr. Reed, you've been asked multiple times to comply and refused. You're being removed from this flight. This is insane, he yelled. I'm not the problem. She is. I was just maintaining standards. Standards. The word cut like glass. His standards meant a world where people like Miriam always sat in the back. 2 officers lifted him from the seat. He shouted, You'll all regret this. I know, people. No one responded. He was escorted off the plane, his arrogance now replaced by humiliation. Captain Reyes made an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay. But every passenger on this aircraft deserves both safety and dignity. We will not take off until that standard is met. Applause. Emma turned to Miriam, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. I looked at him and assumed he belonged more than you did. I was wrong, Miriam nodded gently. Thank you. Today, you didn't just see me. You learned to see everyone who comes after me. Emma smiled faintly. I promise, next time, I'll look at the boarding pass, not the skin color. Miriam took her rightful seat, 17A, and looked out the window. Sunlight reflected off the tarmac. The plane was still on the ground, but her spirit was already soaring.